Matthew chapter 27, verses 57 to 61. When it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who also was a disciple of Jesus. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then Pilate ordered it to be given to him. And Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen shroud and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had cut in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the entrance of the tomb and went away. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were there, sitting opposite the tomb. Joseph of Arimathea was a respected member of the Jewish council, and not unlike Nicodemus, who had come to Jesus in the dark of night earlier in the book of John. He was following Jesus from a distance, but was too afraid of his peers to publicly proclaim his loyalty. He is, in this moment, still waiting for the kingdom of God, but is now licking the wounds of his disappointment. Jesus apparently was not the liberator, the king that he thought he might be. Now that it's all over, Joseph emerges in the shadow of night to courageously ask Pilate for Jesus' body. But the question comes to mind, where was his courage the night before? It's quite likely that he was at the bogus trial where Jesus was falsely accused of so many things, where he was beaten, spit on. Where was his voice then? Where was his courage? Not a word, at least from what we see in the text. Now, as Joseph wraps the body of Jesus, did he feel a bitter guilt, kind of like Peter did when he had denied Jesus 3 times? Did he feel in part responsible for the gruesome loss of a great rabbi? After all, his blood is now literally on his hands as he wraps Jesus' body. Now he buries his failure to speak up out of fear of man. The body of Jesus is laid in his tomb where he was to lay, and a stone is rolled in front. Now Jesus is buried, out of sight, out of mind. And perhaps I wonder if Joseph is not wrestling with the guilt on his conscience, and now he's buried his failure to speak up. Your neighbor needs you to speak up. Your coworker, your family member. We know everyone will die eventually, just as Jesus did. In Joseph's case, Jesus comes back to life, and he has the opportunity for grace and forgiveness, just as the other disciples did. But right now, there are people in your life that are facing death. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's years from now. Don't wait until the day after they've died to find your courage. Find your courage now. Speak up.